The time right now is 12:12. You know, with our pending storm, it's becoming more and more likely that tomorrow we're not talking about big snow totals or anything like that. In terms of storm impacts tomorrow, it is the ice that is the most problematic. Whether it's freezing rain or sleet, it would be the ice. Snow, minor accumulations for most of us tomorrow. We probably just will end as some snow showers in the afternoon. And in terms of wind, the wind will be on the light side, so we're not overly concerned about that as well. Now, in terms of outages, we're thinking it'll be more sleet than freezing rain, so outages would be a lower concern as well, but it can't be ruled out that maybe a couple of power outages, you know, when you have the ice glomming onto things. So we're hoping it's sleet, because keep in mind, sleet are those little ice pellets that often get mixed up for being hail. So you see these little ice chunks fall, but the thing about the sleet is that it bounces off of surfaces. I mean, it makes for a mess, and it's kind of that slushy stuff, and it's really hard to move around. But that is what we're thinking would most likely end up being most of the time. But it'll go from rain to freezing rain first. And of course, freezing rain is basically just rain that falls and then freezes on contact. And that is the stuff that gloms onto wires in trees. And that can be really hazardous and make for some issues, right? So we go from rain to freezing rain. And as that layer of cold air thickens, it goes to sleet. And then eventually it winds down as some snow showers. So a real mess coming in here for tomorrow. Temperature right now in Springfield, 44 degrees. Let's go back. That's some nice numbers, right? 44. We have some raindrops here and there. Visibilities are down a bit, but for the most part, it is just mild and damp this afternoon. 44 in Springfield, 45 right now in Hartford, and you can see just some light rain moving on in. But our storm system and really front is draped from eastern Canada all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico. So there's lots of moisture to go through, and we'll pick up a lot of precipitation, but I would say probably a little more than half of this will fall in the form of rain. So Leon made a good point. It is a good idea this afternoon to clear away the snow from the storm drains, but we're getting some help from Mother Nature, because a lot of this is melting that's out there right now. But look at it, the snow anyway. It goes from Cincinnati all the way down into Dallas, where they're picking up some snow, and they get an ice storm in Austin as that cold air comes all the way down into the Gulf Coast states. Keep in mind, the rotation around low pressure is counterclockwise. So out ahead of it, we turn mild, and then behind it, that cold stuff makes its way all the way down into the south. Look at this. Austin right now is at 29. Well, New Orleans is at 73, and that's where we have the front, and that's where the breeding grounds for storm development. So this is what happens. We have the rain this afternoon, rain into tonight, then after midnight, Franklin County first, the Berkshires, the hill towns, we'll start to see that change over to freezing rain and then sleet. But we may hang on to rain long enough tomorrow morning in greater Springfield that the beginning of the commute, the roads are just wet. But we got to watch out, because after that, say mid-morning, certainly late morning, we're going to start to see that change over to freezing rain and then sleet as temperatures slide, and then likely perhaps just ending as a bit of snow in the afternoon. So in terms of changing to freezing rain, Berkshire County in the western hills between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. North of the Pike, it's probably during the first half of the morning commute. And south of the Pike, we go from rain to freezing rain in the second half of the commute. Then we go over to sleet. Remember, sleet are those little ice pellets. So in terms of a glaze to, I should say freezing rain, we're talking about a glaze to maybe 1/10 of an inch in the valley, a little bit more across the hill towns and higher terrain. And then hopefully we can flip over to sleet pretty quickly here, because sleet isn't quite as problematic. It's still a mess. It still makes for slippery travel, but it doesn't glom onto things. So in terms of snow and sleet totals, this is mainly sleet, a thick coating to maybe an inch or two, right? And that's a really heavy stuff, and it's hard to move around, because there'll be a little bit of snow mixed in along Route 2 and points north, maybe about 2 to 4 inches of sleet and some snow. And it winds down to snow showers tomorrow afternoon, and then we begin to dry out tomorrow night. Then that brings us to the weekend, where it's going to be bright, but it will be cold, and there'll be a bit of a breeze on Saturday too, with temperatures only in the 20s. So tomorrow we're going to start in the low to mid-30s and slide as the day goes on. And then Sunday, a frigid start, but we do bounce back in the afternoon with temperatures in the upper 20s to around 30. So get your scorecard ready. All kinds of precip coming in for tomorrow. All right, well, another look at weather coming up in a few minutes. David, back over to you.
All right, Dan, thank you so much. Meanwhile, 130 million